Hi everyone, Dr.Jyotsna here. I'm going to talk about SGLT2 inhibitor like empagliflozin, dapagliflozin. We all know it's an oral hypoglycemic agent, but nowadays it has gained popularity among the cardiologists and nephrologists. Why so? First, let's know what is SGLT2. SGLT2 is a receptor which is found in the proximal convoluted tubule of nephrons. It is a receptor which absorb almost 90% of the glucose whichever is filtered through the nephron to make urine. Along with these glucose, it also co-transports sodium. So distally there is very minimal sodium or glucose in the tubule. The macula densa, which is around the distal convoluted tubule, it senses that there is a low flow state. Why? When there is low sodium, it senses that a low flow state. So it dilates the afferent blood vessels, the blood vessels which is entering to the nephron, which leads to increase in the filtration, increase in the pressure of the glomerular filtration filter. This leads to persistent increase in the glomerular filtration rate, and if it is for longer time, it can lead to scarring and protein loss, scarring, and this will because of the macula densa is perceiving it as a low flow state. It will also activate the RAS system, renin-angiotensin-aldosterone system. So it will again increase the blood pressure. It will try to retain sodium and potassium. It will increase the preload. So this viscous cycle occurs, and when this SGLT2 inhibitor blocks this absorption of glucose and sodium, so now the distal convoluted tubule in the macula densa will perceive it as the normal flow, and it will not give any feedback in the way that okay, there is a low flow state. It will think it is a normal flow state, and so there won't be any vasodilatation of the these afferent vessels. Instead, there can be vasoconstriction of the afferent vessels, which will leads to decrease in the glomerular filtration rate, and so there will be less glomerular hypertension, less proteinuria, less scarring. So this is the way it decreases the progression of kidney disease. And how it there will be because we have now blocked this sodium glucose co-transport enzyme, this receptor. So what will happen? There will be more glycosuria, means there will be more glucose in the urine, so it will decrease the blood sugar level. So HbA1c will also decrease. There will be because glucose has calorie, every milligram of glucose has 4 kilocalorie. So around 200 to 300 approx kilocalorie is you will lose for every day. So 0.5 to 1 HbA1c can decrease. And in the same way, sodium will also come out, so there will natriuresis also. So preload will be low, so this will help in the failing heart. In the same way, because of the feedback mechanism, the RAS has not got activated. The oxidative stress, because of the decrease in the oxygen, decrease in the glucose level in the blood, this always decrease the the oxygen free radicals, and so there will be less inflammation, less stiffness of the arterioles. So these all will decrease, leads to less stiffer of the these arterioles. So systemic hypertension will also be less, so there will be more compliant artery. So afterload will also decrease, preload will also decrease. So this will help in failing heart. So hypertension will also decrease. So kidney function has also improved because of low sugar. The system of like metabolic parameter will also improve because there will be low sugar level in the blood. So that will help in also decreasing the insulin secretion. When there is a less insulin secretion, what will happen, the liver will take it as a pancreas will take it as a starving state, and it will leads to, because of low insulin, the glucagon will increase. This will leads to ketogenesis, means because of that the fatty acid metabolism will happen, and ketone body will form, and these ketone bodies are very effective, fuel efficient for the myocardium, and because so this will help in further less consumption of oxygen, more easily more ATP generation with the help of the ketogenic energy uptake. So these all is going to be in favor of the cardiac, renal and metabolic state, and this will help in improving the as a whole cardiovascular and cardiovascular risks. So this will decrease the cardiovascular risk. This will decrease the number of hospital admission because of cardiac failure, and even mortality gets decreased. At the same time, as I have told you, the hypertension chances will be less. The progression of this kidney disease will decrease because of filtration will the persistent glomerular hypertension will decrease. So that is why there can be initial dip in the glomerular filtration rate, EGFR can be decreased, but you have to be cautious that okay, this whether this EGFR has decreased because of the SGLT2 inhibitor used, and which has led to which has blocked the receptors, and which has led to decrease in the efferent arterial vasodilation, which has led to decrease in the filtration, and which has helped in the which has decreased the initial glomerular filtration rate, but this is going to be stable. It has not worsened further. In initial, when you will start the these SGLT2 and all, you will find that there will be a dip in EGFR, but it will maintain with that only. Further, there won't be a decline if it is not because of other causes. Because you are seeing that there is a glycosuria, there is a natriuresis, means more and more body is peeing out water. So you have to be very cautious. You have to ask the patient to drink good amount of water, be hydrated, and because there is glycosuria, there is chance of more and more infection around the genital area. So one has to be very cautious, keep themselves well hygiene, and because fungal infection is very common. UTI is very common in such patients. So the diabetic patient are already prone of infection, and because the glycosuria is happening, through urine, this blood, the sugar is coming out. So there is a good chances of occurring infection at that site. So need to keep the area clean. So that is the thing. Foreigner's gangrene is one of the life-threatening situation that can happen in these patients who are on these SGLT2 inhibitors. So we have to be very cautious for that, and we have to warn the patient that please keep yourself clean and hygienic, and if any sign of infection is there, 6 days rule like that, you have to immediately stop the drug, keep yourself hydrated, and see for the any infection. Other than that, because there is chances of hypoglycemia also, so maybe you have to decrease the BP and decrease the sugar medicines, hypoglycemic agent or insulin, and there is chances of euglycemic decay, diabetic keto. I have told you that there is a ketogenesis will happen because of the decreased RBS and decreased insulin secretion, which will lead to increased glucagon and increased ketogenesis. So ketogenesis will be there, and because the patient might be not hydrated, so there can be hydrated, or because of some other infection, or because of decline in the GFR for any reason, there can be acidosis. So diabetic ketoacidosis with normal sugar, euglycemic diabetic ketoacidosis can happen. So we have to be very cautious in such situation, because it will marks when we will see that the sugar is normal, so we can think that okay, sugar is normal means okay, the patient is okay. So no, there can be euglycemic diabetic ketoacidosis. We have to be very cautious about that. As we know, it's the glomerular filtration rate. The glomerulus is filtering the whatever filtration is happening from that. This glucose is absorbed through the SGLT2. So if there is low filtration, less than 20, these drugs will not work. So in that case, it is contraindicated. If the patient is hypersensitive with that, it is contraindicated. If the patient is type 1 diabetes, we should not give, because there is more chances of diabetic ketoacidosis. These are the things it has. So that's all. Thank you.